I am Antonio Tujan. I am international. I'm director of IBON International. IBON International is an organization that works in many countries, mostly from the south, and has branches in a number of countries. It works in capacity development for democracy. So we're focused on supporting grassroots organizations, people's movements, to improve their capacity for advocacy work. Because of that, we are involved in a number of issues, and one of them, of course, is the question of development and development cooperation. So our head office is in Manila, but of course, I would say I'm based in my suitcase.
And you also representing another, let's say, movement or network.
Yeah, well, actually, because our work of capacity development means that we do a lot of networking, which is a principle of capacity development for us. We bring local organizations to networks and international networks, and that exposure helps them build up their, work and their capacity to address several things, and their awareness, their exposure. So I am involved with a lot of networks, and for example, here, for what is significant for us here is that I am the co-chair of the BetterAid platform. I was so because I was formerly the chairperson of Reality of Aid, but we passed the baton last year. So now I'm chair of Reality of Aid for Asia. As co-chair of BetterAid, I sit in the Working Party and the Executive Committee of the Working Party on Aid Effectiveness that's organizing the meeting in Busan.
And what is BetterAid?
BetterAid is a different kind of animal that we hope to create. In the course of networking, of course, we realized that networks are not really fully representative. I mean, it is a way by which you create participation for many organizations. Networks are a way by which organizations achieve opportunities for strengthening themselves and achieving their goals. However, a network, by that definition, becomes exclusive to its members. So what we wanted for Busan, what we wanted for the Working Party, is an organization that allows anyone who wants to engage on the issue of aid effectiveness to become involved. And therefore, you create instead a platform, an open platform. Many platforms that we know are actually networks. But an open platform is a space, more a space, wherein any organization can participate, so there's no membership. You are participants. You can come in anytime you want or how it befits you. You can act in how it is helpful and where you can contribute. You can come out anytime. And that platform is managed by a group of self-selected CSOs, meaning to say any organization can come up and say, I want to help organize this, and that is the coordination group. So BetterAid is an open platform, and literally any organization in the world can join a meeting of the Working Party through BetterAid.
And what is Open Forum?
Open Forum is also a platform. It was also conceptualized as such. And the difference is that Open Forum is a platform of CSOs to craft, develop, strengthen, conceptualize, implement their own effectiveness. So Open Forum was meant to be an open platform so that any CSO who is interested on issues of CSO accountability, CSO transparency, or how CSOs become better at what they do and become accountable to their constituents or to the people or the poor whom they work for or on behalf of, can join. And in that sense, it also doesn't have members, because the assumption is all CSOs are part of it. They can just come in and out anytime.
If I were to ask you, or if you were asked, what is development effectiveness and why is it important?
Mm-hmm. You see, development is a much debated concept, and development is oftentimes defined by the person who defines it, who sees it, who looks at it. For many governments, they look at development in the context of growth and the context of economic growth. Many look at development in the context of advancing business so that it can drive economic growth, so that growth will trickle down to the people in terms of jobs and livelihood opportunities. But for CSOs who are established on the premise of solidarity to the people, and especially those who are marginalized, who are not able to claim their rights, for us, when we look at development, in the end, it's not about prosperity, it's about realizing your full potential. That's what development is. And you realize your potential if you have human rights. And that is the connection between people being able to claim their rights, being able to access the opportunities and the resources so that they can, have the opportunity to realize their full potential. And so for us, development is more about human development, which has economic, political, social, and cultural dimensions.
So Open Forum and BetterAid, what are their main synergies and how could they best work together towards Busan?
You see, CSOs need the recognition as development actors in their own right. To some degree, this has been recognized. You can say it's recognized in theory. There are a lot of writings on that. You can say it is recognized by declaration, by affirmation, through the Accra Action Agenda. But of course, that recognition is a process, and that recognition is premised on a number of things. One of them is the understanding that civil society is an expression of a person's human right to association and the human right to expression. It's also that CSOs are the realization of people's social solidarity to work for those who are not able to claim their rights. BetterAid is the platform that promotes the CSO's responsibility as interlocutors to advocate for development that is premised on human rights, to advocate for development effectiveness. That is the role of BetterAid. To advocate for development effectiveness, BetterAid advocates for, one, the development effectiveness of CSOs, and number two, the recognition of CSOs and the fact that they must be provided their enabling environment to be able to be effective. And these are demands of the Open Forum. So it means that the demands of the Open Forum and BetterAid intersect on the question of development effectiveness. That we're talking about CSO's development effectiveness, and at the same time, we are realizing the CSO's responsibility to call for development effectiveness. And that's the reason why Open Forum, which is promoting CSO development effectiveness, promoting the recognition of the principles of Istanbul, promoting the recognition that there should be minimum standards for an enabling environment, then needs Busan to be the moment in history where such promotion can be made, such recognition can be realized. For BetterAid, which is advocating for development effectiveness in general, the agenda of the Open Forum becomes part of its agenda. The Open Forum needs BetterAid, and at the same time, BetterAid advances Open Forum's agenda. So in that sense, you have that synergy where the issue of CSO effectiveness and enabling environment for CSOs becomes part of the broader BetterAid agenda for development effectiveness of the whole system.
Going forward towards Busan and even beyond Busan, what are the main challenges for CSOs and what are the prospects?
The challenges for CSOs is that there is a tendency by many donors and governments to simplify CSOs as private development assistance. And when you make that simplification, then you lose the heart of what CSOs are there for. It is not about the $30 billion that CSOs raise by themselves for services for the poor, but it's a significant amount of money. But the important thing is why CSOs are doing it and how they are doing it. And that is the question now of solidarity and development effectiveness. The problem is that that is not properly recognized. And that is the challenge. It's very easy to make donors recognize that CSOs are development actors because they provide aid, they provide services, but it's very difficult to recognize them because they criticize governments for being unaccountable. They criticize donors for being inefficient and unaccountable as well. And therefore, that is the big challenge. Nevertheless, there has already been a lot of achievement towards Busan. But for CSOs, our achievement is not just about our recognition. That is less than 1/2 of our value. Our achievement is being able to set development effectiveness as the standard, as the objective of everyone in the aid business, meaning that the donors recognize that the question of human rights is fundamental, that the governments recognize that the issue of democratic ownership is essential. The challenge is that these issues are not easily accepted at Busan. If you ask me, the chance that we will achieve them is, less than 50%. It's an uphill battle for us. But the possibility of reform being pushed forward, even though CSOs are not able to achieve the totality of their demands, is there because the CSOs are able to keep moving that forward, because the CSOs, by their very responsibility and role as interlocutors, as voices in behalf of the poor, is there. So it reminds the donors and the governments what aid is really about. And that, I think, means that at Busan we're going to achieve rather important reforms in terms of better ownership, but CSOs, are never fully satisfied in the sense that we want participatory governance. So we want participatory ownership, fully democratic ownership, and that is part really of the effort of CSOs, not just in aid, but actually in building a better world.